Yep. But yeah, no, to your point, I think like you have shows like Welcome to Night Vale, which is to this day still like one of the biggest fiction podcasts out there. And that's really where most people get into it. Like I think a lot of people don't even know that like old radio dramas from the 50s have quite made the return that they have.
Yeah, actually, I did hear about this kind of recently.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you track it back a few years, like, the BBC has always done radio dramas. Obviously, America used to do it back in the 50s, but, when TV came into fashion, like, a lot of those radio plays fell out of favor, at least in America. Worldwide, and especially in Europe, like, they're still very persistent, a very active market. Yeah, in America, it's kind of like reteaching people like, oh no, it's a movie without the video.
I think if anyone has free time, definitely. I had this old this local college radio station that like at like 1 a.m. on like Tuesday nights they would play old like radio dramas from like the 40s and 50s.
Hell
They're so fun. Like they're definitely very very dated.
Oh yeah.
But there's something very charming and kind of fun about that.
Right. Anything by Orson Welles is wonderful. He went on to direct Citizen Kane, but he started with perhaps the most infamous War of the Worlds. Yeah. He did the radio drama that stopped the globe. But he also did a bunch of other stuff with what was the studio's name? Mercury Theater on the Air. And they did, The Stranger, which I think has been adapted and turned into maybe a Twilight Zone episode, if I'm not mistaken. But, that's basically you're driving along a highway late at night and you see a stranger on the side of the road. You pick him up. The classic, like, hitchhiker ghost story. And Mercury Theater is known for doing just a slew of other things, all of which you can find on YouTube or on last I checked they were all on Apple Podcasts, and I bet they probably still are. And it's just like the old archived audio, and it's a little grainy, but other than that, like, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I remember, I think the last one I was listening to was like a spy adventure story. And so
yes.
I think the thing that I thought was super interesting was like, obviously they're like, this was like a globetrotting one, so they're going to different areas of the world. So every time there was a new scene, they always like had to get like a really, really exaggerated, like, for example, they were like, I think in some sort of like I think they were in Cairo. So they just start playing like the most stereotypical like Egyptian music, things like that, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and like those audio cues are totally still around today. It's modern podcasters rely a lot less on music just because more of them tend to prefer sound effects. But if you listen to any current audio genre or fiction podcast, you will hear probably at some point the same like rustling of leaves or wind blowing through the treetops or bird chirp number 72, just these little audio cues to help you establish place and scene, and everything else like that. For SCP Archives, probably our most commonly used and probably our most popular sound is we have an old cassette tape fast forwarding. So right before and right after an audio log plays, we'll have just like a click, zzz, and then another little click, and then we'll have like some person's voice come on with a lot of texture and kind of grain added to it to make it sound like old and a little warbly. So that way you may not know where they are, but they're on a tape being played for you.
Yeah, I kind of see it almost like as an establishing shot of a film or a TV show.
Exactly that.
Sets the mood.
Yeah, and to that point, sound design very much is like the visuals of this world. It is the director of photography. It is the framing shots that are beautifully well done. It is the over the shoulder that is suspenseful and creepy.
I mean, even with film, like this past year, I thankfully have someone on my team, Nick, who does all the sound design stuff, and it will make or break
Mm-hmm.
films, the sound design, and that's something that a lot of people aren't as aware of.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause usually they say with good sound design or good editing, you never notice it.